Hey, I'm Shelly,
And I'm Angela,
and this is Real Talk Dating Exposed.
where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of dating in your 40s.
If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and like us below.
And if you're listening to us on audio, please subscribe as well.
Now let's get into it. All right, let's talk about post-breakup protocol. So I feel like after you break up with someone, you're almost left kind of in a frenzy and normally like a weird emotional state, even if it was your decision.
Yeah.
And then you're like, now what do I do?
Yeah.
And when I say that, I mean like, oh my God, we're linked with friends and we're linked on social and like,
And I have these pictures.
I have all these pictures
Yeah.
and like this shoebox of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, some people do that still.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I used
Yeah.
to do that, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, then it's like,
Yeah.
what do you do next? And what is the best way to navigate those next steps afterwards?
Yeah. Well, I think social media makes breakups interesting, right? Because it's like, do you unfollow them? How soon do you unfollow them? Do you just mute them? Do you continue to like their shit?
Yeah.
Do you want to see them move on? And like,
I mean,
so many different dynamics, right? So let's dive into that. Like, you break up with someone, and I guess it's also dependent, like, what did that breakup look like? But let's just say it was cordial. Like,
yeah, let's start on the surface level, right?
Yeah.
You date someone for a little bit, recognize that it's not going to work
Yeah.
out, but like it was almost like a mutual thing.
Yeah.
I will say there's dudes that I've dated that way and we're still friends on socials and we're still like friendly.
yeah,
I'm not gonna say, oh, we're still friends, but the point is that there was no love lost and like we just agreed we'd be better off that way.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot of time invested. It wasn't,
well, that's what I was going to ask. This is probably like one daters, two daters. Like,
yeah, or like a
nothing
couple, even
Yeah.
there's been a couple that were, or, you know, I can think of one or two that was like maybe 1 or 2 months, like more than a date or two, but still just not that invested.
Yeah.
Neither one of us were that invested to make it dramatic
Mm-hmm.
in its ending, where we still, and now a lot of them have moved on and I love their photos with their new significant others.
Yeah.
Because there's no beef. There was
Right.
there was no need for it to be something. So I
thing.
feel like
Yeah.
that's level one. The next
Yeah.
level is you are dating someone
Yeah.
and it's been a couple months and you decide you're just not feeling it anymore, but they're very upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it maybe ends a little bit more tumultuous than cordial,
Yeah.
but you're still friends on social. So like, would you handle that?
I mean, for me, I like to have my socials cleaned up for a lot of reasons. So it's like, I don't see the point. Like, I feel like when I was dating, there would be this conversation of like, well, we could still be friends, but like, can we? Like, what's the point, right? Because it's like, you're going to go on and date someone. I'm going to go on and date someone. And like, out of respect of who we're dating, we're not going to continue to talk to each other,
Yeah.
right? Like, let's just call it spade a spade. At least that's not how I...
Yeah, so I feel like we differ here, right? Because I feel like if it's someone, even if it's 2 months and I'm like, okay, it's not working that way. And even so, like me, I don't remove that. If I'm not mad about it, I don't remove them. And
Yeah.
then unless they want to remove me.
Right.
But then if I'm mad about it, then they're going. So I guess it's totally, you know, to me, it's
Yeah.
scenario based. I get what
Yeah.
you're saying, but like I said, there's still dudes that I'm friends with that I'm like, was it a serious relationship? No, but like I didn't feel the need to just clean them out because we decided we weren't going to be in a relationship.
Is there ever a time where you're like, okay, don't want to like take the final step of like unfriending them, so I'm just going to mute them?
No, it's one or the other for me.
Okay.
I'm like black
There's
and white.
no-
So we're
yeah.
either like good, we're either on each other's list or you're fucking
Yeah.
off my list.
Yeah.
So you just, regardless, you remove them.
Yeah, I don't think there's a need for them to like continue
See.
to like linger around.
Okay.
Because again, I mean, at the end of the day, my profile is public, so like anybody can look at it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think for me, I'm always forward thinking. Like, okay, if and when I get into a relationship, do I want that person like still liking my stuff?
But if they're part of your past,
messaging me.
yeah. But I feel
I
like
don't
if
know.
you see, yeah, I get it from both sides, I guess. I don't. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. So you're in a relationship, you're dating someone, and you see a girl that's like constantly liking your new man's shit. Are you going to be like, who is that?
Probably.
Yeah. And, oh, it's a girl I dated for 6 months. Like, we're cool now. Are you good
But
with
like,
that?
I feel like, but yeah, I'm probably cool with that too. I don't know. There's a level of trust and maturity at our age where
Yeah.
I'm like, if that was something then, I don't know. I mindlessly not, and we've had a conversation about this and I feel like I'm being hypocritical, but like mindlessly scrolling in the sense where like, if they're on my newsfeed and I see them with their significant other, I'm gonna like the photo. I mean, are they choosing which photos of yours to like, or are you guys just still cool? But I feel like that's just communication up front, right? Like, yeah, I did date them before, we are still cool. And then see how your person feels about that. But like, I I don't know. I don't really see anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
If their intentions are the same as yours, which is
Nothing.
platonic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, what about pictures? Pictures that you have of them, like dates that you've gone on, like vacations you've gone on. Do you keep those or do you delete them?
I think it depends on the magnitude of the breakup. So it's actually funny. I was scrolling back through my photos the other day because you just get like bogged down. I have like
Yeah.
3,500. I don't know. And then I was like, oh my God, that was from like 2020 and someone I dated for like 3 months. And there's still a picture of us on there. I mean, I deleted it, but I don't go on this rampage. I mean, I think it depends on how swole I am about what happened in the relationship, but I don't feel the need. And that's more or less me just not prioritizing removing them versus I'm not trying to keep them for any reason. I mean, do you naturally go into like delete mode?
I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
I don't think my first reaction, like again, if you're just casually dating someone, I think it's very rare that you're even taking a picture with them anyways. I think that's weird. Like in the early stages, like you're not on your first date and being like, take a picture with me, like that's just weird. So I think there's been plenty of people that you've dated and that I've dated where it's like there wasn't even a picture of it because it wasn't even
Really a thing. Maybe it made the IG stories, which are fleeting.
Yeah. They last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so let's just say like you've dated someone for a couple years, like you're removing those pictures, you're keeping them, you end good, you're keeping them, in bad, you remove them. It's safe to say?
I mean, safe to say.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I still have, I have pictures somewhere. Honestly, a lot of them are in my Facebook archives, which is funny. So like I had an album of these relationships and then I just made them not public, but there was just like a place to keep the photos.
Yeah. So do you still get like the Facebook memory like 7 years ago?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of them I'm not friends with anymore. And the irony is there's been a couple that one of my long-term relationships from way back in the day, and I'm going back to when I was like 26, he recently got remarried and like we were friends on social and all of a sudden we were not. And so I was like, did he remove his social? But I found out through the grapevine that she made him block me from everything. And I'm thinking like, bro, this is fucking 20 years ago. Like what the, you know what I mean? This isn't even, we don't even live in the same state. What are we doing here? I don't love that because I'm like, she's insecure about me because she knew the way he loved me at that time. And I'm like, that's great. But that was a love when we were like in college and like, here we are 2 decades later and now she's making you remove.
Well,
I mean,
you don't know that maybe she caught him like looking at pictures of you or
but
like,
you think,
I don't know. You don't know the other side of that.
Yeah.
Maybe there was a situation where, I don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he was dreaming and said your name.
oh my God. I just
know.
still feel like it would have to be pretty intense for after 20 years for someone that lives across the country to feel the need to go block her on everything when we established already again we were like friendly and cool because we both moved on. I got remarried. Like there was so much that happened in between there. That's fucking weird to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm like, okay.
Okay, so could you stay friends with your ex? And on the flip side of that, would you be okay with someone you're dating being friends with their ex?
I feel like transparency is everything, right? So if you're honest up front if someone's honest with me up front from the get-go, like, hey, I dated this person, me and her are still really cool. She's a good friend of mine. They're honest, transparent. Like, listen, there's nothing going on between us two. I personally, that doesn't necessarily bother me. I mean, are they hanging out on their own without me? That's fucking weird, I think.
Yeah.
But like to be like, hey, we still converse and we stayed cool. I don't know. I feel like it's secure enough. If I'm secure enough in that person and they are transparent and forthright with me about that, I'm not going to hold it against them. I would never tell someone who they can and cannot
be friends with.
No.
Yeah.
I feel like they should gravitate the right way for what would respect me. And if that relationship in their head respects me, then then why am I going to, I'm just not controlling in that way. I want to feel a trust level with someone that I'm not having to go there.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Flip side.
Well, I think what goes back to like what I said, right? Like out of respect of whoever I'm dating, like this goes back to conversations where I've dated someone and been like, okay, I'm ending this, whatever. And they're like, but we could still be friends. And I'm just in my head, I'm like, but why?
Yeah.
Like we're not friends. Like
I feel like a lot of
because
those,
I think the intention there from their perspective is like maybe eventually I'll come back around
For
or
sure.
like I'm not going to have the same conversations we were having when we were dating. So like what is the point here?
Yeah.
Where I'm just more of like a clean break there. Like you were cool, we had a good time, but like you were only here because we were dating and now we're not. So like, let's just call a spade and move on.
Do you feel like you can never be friends with an ex?
I mean,
and in another relationship?
I could, but I guess I don't know what the point would be. Because it's like,
but say you were
what
with
if you slept with that person? Then it's like out of respect of the person I'm with. Like, I don't know. It gets sticky? It does. It does for me.
Do you feel like you could date someone if you like your significant other, if they were friendly with an ex, but were honest about it? Would you have a problem with that?
Again, my question would be like, what's the intent?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's different lenses, right? It's like, what is the intention? But if there was literally like, hey, nothing, like we were cool and we hung out for a while, and like, I get where it can get muddied. I think it's a case by case situation, right?
Yeah.
Like if I was dating someone and he was like, yeah, I'm friends with every girl I've ever dated, like I'd be like, well, that's a little fucking weird.
Yeah.
But if they're like, hey, we dated for 6 months or even whatever and realized we weren't good that way, but we still stayed friends. I mean, I just don't have I don't.
Yeah. I guess
even if they had sex, I'd be like, okay, well, a lot of people have sex. So like, that doesn't bother me.
I guess my
personally.
question is like, define friends. Like again, how often are they talking? Does he talk to her in front of you? Like all these things.
Oh
right?
yeah. Well, the minute there's not transparency.
Yeah.
And it being an open book to be like, here, this is what we talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now on the flip side. Okay. So what if you were dating someone and you found out that he still had like nudes of his ex in his phone?
Okay. Fucking no. That would be a hard no. That would be a hard no in every capacity.
Yeah.
I feel like that would borderline deal breaker for me, depending on what.
Yeah. What are you doing with those?
Yeah. I mean, if it was like, I don't know, like they're just, I forgot they were there.
No, you did not.
I mean, no, you fucking didn't.
Yeah.
If you deleted every other one, but you still have their nudes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, not about that life at all.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know there's like secret albums on your phone?
I discovered one the other, like you can have hidden albums.
Hidden albums. This is like a new thing.
Yeah.
Do you have anything in yours?
Yeah.
Oh. I can't say I have any in mind. But I mean,
had to
like,
figure out how to get into it though.
Yeah.
I'm being honest. But yeah.
So how do you feel about nudes in your significant other's phone?
No.
Deal breaker?
100%.
Yeah. Would you ever ask to look in their phone?
Because they wouldn't know, but they wouldn't. But I also think that like, if it were to come up, like I'd be like, why is that even there?
Yeah.
I just feel like that's a huge, huge problem. I have a huge problem with that.
What if it was multiple women?
Also a huge problem.
Yeah, I feel like one would be enough.
But I feel like there's probably a lot of men out there that are dating that probably do have a lot of multiple women in their
I mean, I have to
phone
agree
that
because I feel like when did they get to a point where they feel like it's worth deleting? Is that going to be in the first month or two? Probably not.
No.
You know?
Yeah.
So at what point do you even make it a thing? I feel like that's once you're like established.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot there. How do you handle someone that like you broke up with that wants to continue to text and call?
I mean, again, I think it depends on what was the scenario around our relationship. And like, if we broke, I mean, I don't love that initially, unless again, it's like that rare chance where you both decide like, hey, we're cool. Like we're better off as friends.
Yeah.
You know, how often does that happen though? I feel like not that often, you know? Yeah. Normally it's, hey, I don't think this is working out. And then they're like, okay, I totally get it. But then they still want to keep that communication. No, I don't love that because to me, that's like, holding on to the idea that this could be something when it's not. Yeah. You know? I mean, I feel like I know your answer on this.
Yeah. Well, I just don't think that men can be friends with women.
You don't?
Without like
having an intention?
Or a thought. Yeah, I don't think.
You don't have any men friends?
That I would like talk to? No.
You have no guy friends beside, like you have no men that you consider friends? That you would go grab a drink.
I mean, outside of like obviously work and like,
yeah. So
but like nobody that, I mean, Sam,
but he's a guy.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess I do. But like in that situation, it's like, I trust his intention. What I'm saying is most men can't usually be a friend with a female. And I define a friendship as someone that like you would go and do things with, right? Like go get dinner and go get coffee and like go do an experience. Like I could do all of that with Sam and know that like we are strictly friends.
Yeah. So I have a lot of guy friends
that you don't think if you were like, hey, come
no, because they're in other relationships.
Tonight. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So maybe it's maybe we're different that way. Yeah. And I think we're at an age, right, where you know. I have to feel the clear boundary, but like if they're legitimately with someone else, like then I don't feel threatened. And like, I know their person doesn't feel threatened by me. I don't know. Yeah, I do feel like there is.
Yeah.
I can have that, but I get if you're feeling like guys and women can't be friends. I just feel differently. I do feel like at our age, like there are some friendships where you're like, hey, yeah, we like, I don't know. We have.
But I also feel like in those situations where like you're friends with the guy, you're probably also friends with the female.
For sure. But a couple of them I was friends with him first. And I make sure that like she knows that we're cool. You know what I mean? Like, and then he introduces. So like there's a level of respect on both sides. I guess that just needs to be there, right? Like for your potential new person and then for their person. But like if there's a friendship there, and I mean, even one of them, we dated first and then we decided it wouldn't work. So this is a prime example. And now we're like family. Like I went with him and his girl to out of the country. Like we are all friends now, I guess. It's not weird. And that was years ago, but like then we stayed cool. And like now he's with someone, like we both moved on after that, you know, but we just still had a friendship where we felt connected. So like, I don't think necessarily it's worth always drawing an axe on that if there's something tangible there between, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
it's a difference of opinion.
Tomato. Okay, back full circle now. When you are, what to do after a breakup? So like, do you block them? Have you ever blocked their number? Have you ever blocked them from like, do you block them on social? Like, we're not even talking remove. Did you ever feel the need to like get rid of them altogether? That way, number one, they can't see your shit, but number two, like you just don't want to be tempted to see theirs.
I think it's a situation. If I've ever come to that, have I? I can't think of any off the top of my head where I've blocked. But it would be a situation where it's like I've communicated that I no longer want contact and they're just not respecting that.
Yeah.
Then I would block.
Yeah.
Have you?
Their number?
All of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm guilty on the other side before where there was someone that I felt like super toxically connected to and I knew it was like a narcissistic bond that I had to block them just so I wouldn't look.
Yeah.
Because I felt like continually triggered because he just like moved on fast. And like, I just felt so wrapped up in that like toxic shit.
Yeah.
At that point in my life, like where he was like already on to the next girl. And then it just became incessant where I wanted to like go see what he was doing.
Right.
But like, how does that help me move on?
Right.
So for my own betterment, I freaking blocked them.
it. Yeah. So you can't see their stuff anymore. Yeah.
I mean, not anymore. I wouldn't even know. No, I don't think he's blocked anymore. But like, yeah, so it's been on both sides. Mm-hmm. But there has to be a good reason. But if that's enough where you're like, hey, they're not respecting my boundaries or I can't even respect my own boundaries, then I'll block them on my own behalf.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, that's the beautiful thing is we have this technology at our fingertips, which is a blessing.
It's like
and a curse,
blessing
right?
and a curse. Yeah, because think about it back in the day, like you break up with someone.
You don't see them.
You never like, you'd have to make a concerted effort to like figure out what the hell they're doing with their lives.
Right.
And now you're literally like, let me open this app.
Yeah, let me just
and then you could see what they
now.
ate for fucking breakfast. And meanwhile, you're like, I don't want to see your face like ever, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is the pros and cons.
Right.
Yeah, I don't love that.
But I think that the moral of this story is just understand yourself well enough and to your point, like use it to your advantage. If you're going through a breakup and you're like feeling sad about it or feeling like you want to move on, but you keep getting pulled back, like block them, mute them, remove their pictures from your phone.
I think
just be done with it.
Agree. And I think that don't feel bad for that either.
No.
I do feel like everyone heals differently. And if you feel the need to have to like fully RIP that person, like they have to be dead to you in whatever capacity, then fucking do what you need to do to get them out.
Right.
You know? And also tell your friends, like, I don't want to fucking hear about it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about it.
You know, because you're not necessarily, I have had friends be like, can
did
you
you
remove
hear?
him?
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Or like, can you remove him because I'm not? And I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'll do that for you when I just don't put as much concerted effort. I wouldn't be like, Angela, you have to. I mean, actually, you probably just would naturally. If I wasn't.
Like if you were dating someone and you broke up, like would I unfollow them? Yeah.
It depends on like the magnitude of the friendship you have. If you were friends with them for like, you know, there's just a level there.
Yeah.
I've had people be like, remove them, you know, and I'm like, okay, fine. But don't feel bad about telling someone like, hey, I'd rather you not tell me.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. You know, like if they were, you know, seeing
Well, I think
something,
as a friend,
you would think
you
to know
wouldn't
better.
do that
Oh,
unless
people-
you're just like in drama and you just want to like stir shit up.
For sure.
Yeah.
But like, do what you have to do post breakup. I think even if it is muting, deleting, blocking.
Yeah. And then I would say too, also like out of courtesy of your person, like when you start dating someone else, just go through your phone. If you have any nudes, get them out.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
At what point though?
I mean, I would.
You'd
do
have
it
to
right
know that
away. Like if I broke up with someone, I wouldn't want that stuff on my phone.
Oh yeah, no, but I'm saying if you start dating someone new, like me, if I potentially started dating someone, like at what point do I go, let me go do a sift through? I mean, I got to
They-
be feeling like,
Yeah,
okay, this person's
you're in
sticking
it.
around.
Yeah.
Not like I carry shit around, but I'm sure if you scrolled through, there'd probably be some shit on there that I'd be like, why the hell do I have that on there?
Yeah.
That's just honest, you know?
Yeah.
God, you're making me feel like,
You got to go through.
now I'm
your
getting
phone
a complex. Like I'm going to go home and go through my pictures.
All right. Anything else we want to add on that before we wrap it up?
I mean, do you, boo-boo. Meaning,
Yeah.
do whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
To make yourself move on. I
don't
think
feel
the
bad
worst
about
thing
it.
you could ever do is torture yourself with like nostalgic pictures and scrolling on socials.
Yeah.
And
I
seeing their
agree.
shit.
I agree.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, thank
we'll
you for
wrap this
tuning in,
up.
guys.
Yes, thanks for tuning in.